Hello, everybody. Today, my presentation is titled The Sister Outside and the Red Revolutionary, tracing the evolution of intersectional thought in the Black Atlantic world. And my comprehensive essay that examines the fundamental political theory of Claudia Jones and the cultural philosophical expansion provided by Audre Lorde, and they represent the essential phases and the development of Black feminist thought. Second, the context, the Black Atlantic. To understand these, we must first recognize the Black Atlantic, a framework that sees the Americas, Caribbean, and Europe as a single interconnected space shaped by a diaspora and resistance. The core problem, as my essay argues, is that traditional historical histories that have often failed to address the overlapping crises faced by Black women. Jones and Lord fill this gap. They change the single axis approach of their time, whether it is civil rights movements focused only on race or communism, focus only on class. Uh, Claudia Jones, she was the foundation. Let's begin with Claudia Jones, the foundational figure born in Trinidad. She became a revolutionary writer and organizer in the United States before being deported from the United States to the UK. She was a transnational communist who life itself manifested in the Black Atlantic. Her work was rooted in institutional power structures, and her goal was clear: to liberate the working class. Her famous quotes summarize in her analysis that she saw the Black woman as the most oppressed stratum of her whole population. She thinks that Black women are the main oppression of the Black population. So we have our fourth slide: Jones' worldview, the triple oppression. Uh, Jones' most significant theological contribution was the concept of the triple oppression. She argued that Black women face simultaneous exploitation based on three things: race, class, and gender. A Marxist Leninist precursor to the modern intersectionality. Her strategy was focused on class, believing that freeing Black women would, by necessity, dismantle the entire capitalist system. Her method was institutional action: one, journalism, political organization, and famously funding the Notting Hill Carnival to build political cohesion across the diaspora. We have Audre Lorde, the expansion. Decades later, we encounter Audre Lorde, a self described Black lesbian, mother, and warrior and poet. Lorde worked and shifted the focus. While Jones operated in a political parties and newsroom, Lorde worked in the realm of identity and culture. Lorde was challenged. Lorde challenged the institutions' focus of the past and arguing that our differences, our passions, our pain, and most potent is the most potent source of political power. This shift from the institutional to the internal is key. Lord's theory, I quote, uh, I quote, um, it is not our differences that separate us, it is our unwillingness to recognize and celebrate those differences. Lord's philosophy captures the beauty in this quote, emphasizing that the difference should be a source of strength, not separation. Um, Her world view centered on difference as power. She challenged white feminism for its lack of inclusion and argued the concept like political erotic. The passion for life and work are a necessity for our collective survival as resistance. For Lord, political action begins with honest, radical self definition. That's a lot. Okay. A shared ground, the continuum. Despite their different methods, Jones and Lord share a essential ground, forming a continuum of black feminist thought. First, they both were transnational figures who used their Black Atlantic experience to critique global power. Second, they both fundamentally championed the interconnection of oppression, seeing race, class, gender as inseparable. Finally, both women were outsiders, uh, marginalized by the very movements they try to join, forcing them to forge new theoretical political spaces. All right, next slide. All right, the methodological contrast. The core differences lies in their methodology and focus. Jones centered the systematic and institutional. Her tools were communist parties and rallies, and her goal was economic liberation. Lord centered on cultural and psychosocial. Her tools were poetry and essays, and her goals was personal and communal liberation through self-expression. In short, Jones focused on the political map, and Lord focused on the cultural navigation. All right, next slide. All right, a combined legacy. Conclusion. In conclusion, the combined legacy of Claudia Jones and Audre Lorde provide a complete model for anti-oppression politics. Jones insisted that the necessity of political organizing to change the system. All right, Lorde insisted the necessity of political honesty and radical identity to change the culture. Together, they demonstrated that true revolutionary change requires simultaneous action in the streets and in the self. Thank you.